Let's do a talking story without looking at my face. Alright, so Lahaina fire update. A lot of things happening. It's 6 months since the fire. So there was a lot of news coverage last night, today. And the lady's got her leaf blower out there. That's not gonna make the video any better. Drying off these chairs. Let's go for a walk. Oh. So the NFL honored the Lahaina Luna football team yesterday. Gail King Winfrey introduced them. They got a standing ovation. We saw Wyatt and Jenna's boy Teva there, right on the closest one to the camera. Good looking kid turned out to be, huh? I spent Thanksgiving with Wyatt and Jenna and that kid, who was really the one that you really noticed the most in that short clip from the NFL honors. We saw Honu on TV talking about raising unemployment and the need to do so. Didn't know he was a boat captain, but he's been a boat captain, and I think we all enjoyed his perspective on that. Another family was interviewed talking about how the effects of living without any kind of secure or long-term housing is more difficult than the fire itself, which I imagine has to be the case with kids. I mean, you know, if it's just you by yourself in a hotel room, that's one thing, but if you had little kids, that would be pretty tough. Yeah. FEMA, well, I haven't seen any kind of real coverage on this, but across the bottom of the news broadcast, there was a thing on the ticker saying that FEMA was going to build housing for us. I don't know what that's all about, if that's true. I heard someone on the news today talk about what we need to do is just plop down, build 3,000 units, you know, which would just be amazing. To have some kind of long-term housing that was affordable, would just set everyone's mind at ease and allow us to just work our butts off like we're used to. Oh, the big breach way out there. So that was really interesting. I don't know what that is. Oh, look at that outrigger canoe! Isn't that beautiful? What else? Lots been going on. I met my son's friend Josue, and Josue lost his brother, a teenage boy, in the fire. Very, very sad. And that was interesting. And then this morning, there's been this effort, I think, to pay off families who lost loved ones. First, they talked about $1 million, but they just announced on the news that they'd like to compensate these people with $1.5 million, which made me wonder, would my son's friend Josue, a 20-year-old, hard-working kid, great kid, it's kind of funny. He wants to start a landscaping business. He happens to be a Mexican kid, and his goal is to start a landscaping business, which is just a little funny because, you know, of the stereotypes out there. But a great kid, and so that would really be an interesting outcome. I have to assume that his deceased brother would like to see him be given $1.5 million. What a great start to your life if you're 20. But also a way for them to release themselves of the liability, right? Because perhaps the judgments would be higher if it were settled in a courtroom. I don't know. I hope to attend another meeting with these attorneys that are really doing the investigatory work that needs to be done. That one good local journalist from Maui Alerts on YouTube, he posted a story how he was being harassed and whatnot from local cops, and they threatened him not to do his news stories in front of the police station, which was provocative. And he just posted another news broadcast from the parking lot of the police station, which takes courage. If our local cops put you on their shit list, it's not like you can go anywhere. This is an island. So anyway, that guy has courage. Takes courage, and he's doing the work. He's doing the investigatory work, finding whatever truths are out there. For those of you who are quick to believe the lies, the conspiracy lies, there are people out there working towards the truth and for the truth. Look at these paddlers. Oh, it's inspiring. I wonder if these are tourists. They could be, or it could be the beginning of the canoe season. Helicopter. Let's hope that's not a rescue helicopter. We sometimes see rescue helicopters out here doing a grid pattern in the sky. That means someone is lost at sea. Not a good sign. Oh, some whale action over there. That is Molokai. It is Friday. I'm a Craig on Friday every day. I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do. And yes, I got fired on my day off. Oh, but yeah, the life of the people here. I guess they said they only need 500 more units to get everybody into a longer term place. They said 2 years on TV, but I'm hearing more like a year from the FEMA people. FEMA people are saying a year, but then the governor on the news said 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But this is where I've been living, right here at a hotel on the beach for 6 months now, which is interesting. I do look forward to having my own kitchen so I can cook for my son. I do love to cook. Yeah, look at that outrigger. So let's see, is that all the news? Looks like she's done with her leaf blowing. All right, I'm gonna just sit down back here. Oh. Let's see. Oh yeah. Again, if you need to retrieve your pictures or data, drivesavers.com will do so if you're from the Lahaina fire at no charge. That would normally cost you like $1,500 or so, but free if you've got a hard drive that was damaged in the fire and not completely destroyed it. A hard drive can withstand 1400 degrees, so maybe you've got pictures that are retrievable. But also, anywhere you live in the world, if you need your information retrieved, Drive Savers will hook you up. They know how to do it. They're the best in the business, and really good people, obviously, or they wouldn't be offering Lahaina people free data recovery. Let's see. Oh, my housing situation. So I called who they told me to call. They said they've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They said they're gonna do background checks. And they're supposedly, I called them, they're still working on background checks. So, if it's credit, I don't have very good credit, but if it's trouble with the law, I have no trouble with the law. So, I wonder if you don't pass their credit checks or whatnot, does that just mean that you'll be end up being continuously put up here at the hotel? And the people that, the last people at the hotel will be all the ones with either a criminal history or maybe bad credit history. I don't know. I'm curious. Let's see, what do we got here? That could be paddlers, old paddlers, maybe new paddlers. They've got some timing, which is why I say that, right? They have just a little bit of timing. If they were tourists, they would just have no timing at all. That's pretty cool. Greatest sport on earth right there. Man, I'm finally exercising a little bit, getting out of my room. I hear that what I've been doing is common, just staying in my room too much, sleeping too much. Although you're not doing any damage to yourself when you're sleeping, so it's a pretty good bad habit. But I need to get out of that. All right. So I got a story I gotta tell you, since Vegas is in the news. On my way to Vegas on a road trip coming back on Route 66 from Chicago, I stopped in Texas, tried to eat the 72-ounce steak. I was on a webcam. I told a few friends, you know, I'd do that, and one of my friends watched it, and this really good guy knew I was headed to Vegas, and he bought me a room. A friend bought me a free room. I'd never been to Vegas, and this room was at the Wynn Encore, which was killer. I think it has the longest pool in America, quite possibly. But before that, going through Arizona, I learned a valuable lesson the hard way, like I always do. I got pulled over doing 1 mile over the speed limit on the Navajo Indian Reservation. When you see signs that say strictly enforced or zero tolerance, any words to that effect, when you're getting onto a freeway, you know, because there's already a speed limit there now of 75 miles an hour maybe, right? So basically the cops are telling you, we're gonna let you go 75 miles an hour, don't ask for more. But also, it's a great way to raise revenue on an Indian reservation. So, and all the big highways, they just go right through Indian reservations. You don't really know the difference, but suddenly you've got a totally different police force that's most likely hoping to raise some revenues, right, by giving you a ticket. So, never speed anymore, period, but especially when you see those signs, zero tolerance. The cop said, you see that sign back there when you got on the freeway? It said zero tolerance? I said, oh yeah, I get it now. So anyway, he searched my car. He found one joint, which was like, you know, 0.2 of a gram of weed. And that was a $750 ticket. And then the rolling paper that the weed was in was another $750 ticket for the paraphernalia. So that cost me $1,500 to learn that lesson the hard way. So I now don't have any weed, and I'm driving across the United States, and so from Arizona I drive straight to Vegas. I get to the Wynn Encore where my friend put me up. Super amazing, beautiful room. First time I'd ever seen sensors in a room where, like, if you just pick up a juice from the fridge, it charges you automatically, right? You can't like put it back, go buy one at a store and put it back. Anyway, so that was interesting. But I immediately wanted to try to find some herb, so I went down to the streets. I met some guys on the street, and they were good guys. They were in a rap group called Merk Out Boys. And their music was really good. $10, I bought their CD. It was a really good CD. Of course, that burned up in the fire. And their sound was good and unique. And they didn't really make it like no one's ever heard their music, but it was good. Like, it was a good CD. And a couple of their songs are on YouTube. Anyway, the Merk Out Boys. So these guys, they sell me a CD, and then they explain to me that they can find me some weed. So they're like, you want the really good stuff? I'm like, yeah. So like, they make a call in 5 minutes. The guy pulls up to the curb, hands him 3 grams for like $50 or whatever, and it was good weed. So now I'm in Vegas. I got this free room at the Wynn Encore, and I got some weed. So life is good. And then I go to the pool. The pool is like an Olympic-sized pool is 50 meters, right? And that's a big deal. 50 meters, 2 laps is a football field. Well, this pool at the Wynn Encore was more than a football field. It was like 100 and, I don't know, 10 yards or 15 yards, some crazy distance. So instead of, in a regular pool, 72 laps is a mile. In a 50-meter pool, 32 laps is a mile. In this pool, like, it was like 9 or 15 laps. I forget the math, but it was just the fewest number of laps you could ever swim to do a mile in a pool. I doubt there's a pool in the United States longer than this, because it's longer than a football field, and I just can't imagine there being any other pool that's actually longer than that. It's got to be the longest pool in America. Anyway, in case you're a swimmer, you want to swim the longest lap you can, it's probably at the Wynn Encore. Look at these people floating in their outrigger canoe. Maybe they are tourists. I think they are. Yeah, I think they're coming out. A friend of mine, Barry, years ago, started a company down the beach here, and he moved away and sold it. I think that's his business. So yeah, that's the story. Didn't finish that 72-ounce steak. Fell 12 ounces short. Don't try that. You get to a point when you're in an eating contest where you can't wait to pay for it, because that's how it works. If you if you don't succeed, you have to pay for the meal. If you do succeed, you usually don't have to pay for it. So yeah, that's not as fun as it sounds like. Gee whiz. Beautiful morning, huh? Tell you what. Oh, I got something about Hawaii that I think is funny and interesting. Especially funny when you hear this word used in advertising. So locally, it's kind of funny. Like if you're on the mainland and somebody says they're from Hawaii, and then you hear them use the word much instead of many, that is an indication they are definitely actually from here. Because locals just don't use the word many very often. They use the word much, like, oh, there's so much people on the beach, kind of thing, right? But the word that they use instead of many is choke, right? Choke is another word for many. And what's funny about this word choke, a word for many, is how it is sometimes used. I listen to the radio, and you hear radio advertisements that are geared towards both locals and tourists, and they'll make that clear in the ad. They're trying to reach out to tourists and connect to tourists in their advertising, and then they use the word choke, which I have to assume most tourists have no idea what they're talking about when they say choke something or another, and they're just meaning that lots of, right? Lots of or many of something. So it's kind of interesting. That's just a fun local word, slang word. Gets used a lot, but it's particularly amusing when it's used in advertising for tourists who do not know what it means. Anyway, if you hear that word and you're a tourist and you wonder what it means, it's just another word for many, which you probably won't hear that word used. I love it. I was talking to a Red Cross lady the other day, and she was from the Marshallese Islands. And if you didn't know this, it's pretty cool. It's a cool little fact you might enjoy knowing. The language of the Marshall Islands, Marshallese, is not connected to any other language on earth. It lives by itself. It stands alone. Almost all languages on earth are somehow connected to some other language. Like, an interesting thing, a lot of people don't know that Filipino, the languages spoke in the Philippines, all is a derivation of Spanish, or it's all derived from Spanish, like Cortez or whatever conquered it or whatever, and brought Spanish to the Philippines, and that's what their language is based on, which is fascinating. I did not know that, so that was interesting to learn. And of course, they're the people who know this plant moringa. They know it better than anybody on earth, and the rest of the people on earth are starting to figure it out because it's the best plant ever. It's called the tree of life, superfood. Anyone can grow it. The leaves have every ingredient you need to survive on, and yeah, it grows everywhere. Oh man, we got a lot of funny people in my neighborhood. I went to the post office, and there was a guy behind me cracking jokes. First joke was about how he didn't have a leg to stand on, and the guy had a prosthetic leg. He was missing a leg. That was his first joke. I'm like, oh my God, you are so funny. Like, bro, if I ever get this comedy club, will you please show up and tell jokes? You are meant for comedy. Like, my town is so full of funny people. It is just amazing. They're everywhere, and everyone's cracking jokes all the time. This lawyer, Jan Appo, the other day, giving a talk about the fires, he was constantly making jokes about this one co-worker of his who couldn't make it, who was stuck on Molokai, and he kept referring to it, and it was just funny. This bartender up here, she's got a 12-year-old. She tells the story of, her son. She knows everything that he does on his phone, and apparently he looks at porn, and she sees all of it. Her stories were pretty funny, and then the look on her face when she talked about how awful his laundry smelled was priceless. But anyway, I digress. Oh, my son, his job, it's killer. He's doing great. My son is a lot like I am, which makes me so happy. He works really hard, and he's proud to work really hard, and people are complimenting him for working really hard, and they're tipping him for working really hard, and he's thriving on it, right? He's got this great work ethic, and he's in his second week of work, and he works hard, but he makes such good money. $14 an hour plus. I mean, he's making $25 an hour in tips. So 25, 35, 39. I mean, like, he's almost, if he just works his ass off, he's gonna make like over 70 grand this year, I think, as a busboy without a high school diploma. And they'll make him a waiter soon, and that'll pay him even more. And he's working for this friend of ours. In the summer of '96, I opened a Duke's restaurant in Malibu. The two general managers was my friend Jeff Salins and Buff Weaver. And so I came down there because I knew Jeff Salins from Lake Tahoe. And Buff Weaver was the other co-general manager. Nice guy. And he is... So my general manager at a restaurant I worked at 28 years ago is now my son's general manager at the restaurant he's working at in the Pili Bay, and it's really cool. So yeah, my son is doing great. But I had this one really tough night recently. He only had one uniform, and I was doing his laundry in the middle of the night because he had a night shift and then a morning shift back to back. And in the middle of the night, I went back to my room while stuff was in the dryer, and then came back to the dryer, and someone stole my son's work shirt, just his work shirt, from the dryer, and he only had one. So I got all pissed off, which was stupid. That was like the PTSD just making me pissed off. But I got over that quick, and luckily I didn't run into the person who stole the shirt, because I wouldn't have been very pleasant. And it's just a shirt, and you know, he's got 2 new shirts now, and life is good. But that was just a little hiccup. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get up into the mountains today and go for a hike. Try to bring my camera. There's this super beautiful place, you know, like if you want to propose to somebody, it's that beautiful. It's called Razor Ridge. And so I hope to show you that. That guy's board looks a little like mine. Let's see. Thank you again, everyone, for all of your emotional support, your kind words, and a few of you have been very generous, so I thank you for your generosity. I purchased a camera. I got some great footage with this camera, but I can't figure out how to get the videos. I can't even watch them on the device. I can't plug into something and just move them over like you would any normal device. And so, yeah, I think I gotta like move them over, like connecting 2 devices. And so, yeah, but also I'm gonna invest in a better camera. Phone camera, and then a drone. And all these things will make my channel better and allow me to make better content and diverse content. And I have you to thank. You are the ones that are paying for all my technology, all my advancements that have not actually come yet to my channel, but technological progress is coming. I wish we could get some hardcore whale action. It's out there, it's just really far. I could see tails and breaches and spouts, but it's way out there, and I don't know how well my camera's picking it up. Here comes the Super Bowl. Hey, here's a good question. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard about the stupid shit. Yeah, Republicans every day, they just get stupider. And what I love about Republicans being so stupid is that they're totally sensitive to being called stupid, because they are stupid. Everything they do is wrong, immoral, corrupt, stupid, ignorant, dangerous, hurtful, harmful. It's just a joke. Everything, like the environment, right? There's no such thing as climate change, right? I can't even believe any young person would vote for the party that's been denying any need to care for the environment. Like, that's just pure ignorance. But it just doesn't stop. Every day they do something stupider than the day before. Like, oh, we're worried about this Taylor Swift conspiracy. It's all conspiracy, Joe Biden. No, it's not. There's people out there who are not so stupid that they would vote against women's rights. What stupid woman would vote against her own rights, right? Like you really got to be a dumb shit woman, right? And Taylor Swift is not stupid. She might be from Tennessee, and she's a good Christian woman, but she's not stupid enough to confuse murdering women with abortion laws with something God would want. And then Travis Kelce, these fucking pussy snowflakes trying to talk shit about him. He's the baddest mamma jamma tight end in the history of tight ends. He will end up with the most yards, the most passing yards, the most receptions, the most touchdowns, the most of all those things in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will be the tight end that all other tight ends are compared to. So yeah, the hot girl got the perfect guy, and they are like American royalty immediately. And yeah, the Republicans hate them because they're not stupid. They're not fucking traitors. They're gonna claim to be patriots. They're not gonna vote to murder your children with stupid, ignorant Republican gun laws. Because it's not the people killing people, it's the guns. Duh. Jesus. How could anyone be so stupid to believe that lie just repeated over and over? Because it's been repeated over and over and over. It's not the guns, it's the person. No, it's the guns. All the people in the world couldn't kill anybody if they didn't have a gun, but you give a 7-year-old a gun and they can kill anybody, right? Because it's the gun killing the people. It's not the 7-year-old or the 14-year-old, that kid. Oh, and now we got a Republican mom going to jail for buying her son a gun and sending him off to school. Good job, Trump supporter. Oh, and how about this? They totally suppressed that story, the story of the Republican psycho kid who murders his father and cuts his dad's head off. They're not giving that any traction because all he did was read the Republican manifesto right before or after he did it. Sorry for being in your way.
No, you're fine.
Appreciate you. I'm soaking up some of the water for you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I thought that was so clever. You had the leaf blower. So smart. And one of the quiet electric ones.
Pretty loud.
It is still loud, but...
Sorry, I'll use this whole gas. Have a good one.
You too. So yeah, and then of course, if you don't know this, all-star, badass defensive end for the 49ers, Nick Bosa, is a dumb shit Republican Trump supporter, right? So what are you gonna tell Nick Bosa, that he's supposed to lose the game for libtard Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? I don't think so. Yeah, there's no conspiracy. There's no way that guy is gonna be trying to lose the game, okay? I would just wish some reporter would ask Nick Bosa if he plans on throwing the game so that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift can win. That ain't gonna happen. So, yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here, Matt. Oh, and notice the beaches are totally eroding. They're disappearing. Just down the way here to the left where I used to work, we lost 40 feet of shoreline last year. And now the ocean is right up against that. You can see how it's just peeled back the beach. There's very little beach left. And that's not gonna stop. And of course, nobody is smart enough to talk about the biggest threat to all of us, which is the Thwaites Ice Shelf. Thwaites, Thwaites. Look that up. Imagine a Volkswagen driving into a swimming pool and how the water would get displaced. What would happen with the water, right? That's what's gonna happen in the ocean, right? A giant bus is basically gonna drive into the ocean and push water up everywhere. The estimates are 2 to 6 feet in sea level rise the day that happens, okay? 2 feet, maybe 6 feet. Imagine that. The day that thing plops in the ocean. And it's probably gonna happen in the next 24 months. In the next 24 months, the ocean is most likely gonna rise 2, 3, 4 feet. That is crazy, and that's gonna change life all over the planet, including here. These beaches are not gonna look like this. This is gonna become historical footage. It's not funny. Sorry, I laugh, because I just don't know what else to do. But yeah, Isn't it amazing? It's like, don't look up, right? Don't look up at the sea level about to rise. When we think about all the things that are close to the ocean, all the homes and hotels and industrial complexes, and if you've ever flown in and out of San Francisco, there is a whole bunch of industrial stuff right at about 2 feet in elevation. Right around that, right as you fly in, you look out the plane and you just see, you know, industry. What's gonna happen when that all floods? And oh, the marina in San Francisco and just everywhere. Anyway, the majority of all people on Earth live close to the ocean in like the first 20 feet of elevation. And all that life is going to get disrupted. So I just can't believe how it's just not even on anyone's horizon. No one's even talking about it. It's weird. Anyway, it's like gluten in the 80s. I read this book, Eat to Win, in 1985, and it talked about wheat gluten. And I tried telling everyone I know about wheat gluten, and no one would listen. And then, you know, in the restaurant business, over time, I just saw one person after another developing gluten allergies and becoming sensitive and learning about it. But my God, we could have all known about it in the mid-80s. The knowledge was right there. We didn't all have to eat it and then become sensitive to it. When I see a whale, and it's not me in the mirror. Maybe we get some whale action. Oh, sorry. I keep there. Yeah, see, there's a little breath. Maybe that's a baby. Anyway, I'm gonna go for a hike. Thanks for sharing this morning with me. This guy's searching the beach. Never know what you're gonna find in the morning on the beach. You just never know what you're gonna find. People drop stuff, they lose stuff, they get drunk. I was thinking almost as good as having a dog would be to get a metal detector. You know, take my metal detector out for a walk in the morning. Might be a healthy way, a reason to get out and do stuff. Ooh, yeah, look at that. We got whales. We got whales. We got whales. Time we got 38 minutes. Well, they're there. They're breathing. Looks like a baby and a mama. So they're gonna have to breathe a lot more. They're not gonna be able to go down too far. Baby's got to breathe every 15 minutes, at least. Yeah. And like full-grown adults can go under for 45 minutes, I think, roughly speaking. But the babies, they can't do that. So yeah, look at that. Be so cool to catch a breach right now. Or a tail, or a flipper. Yeah, it's as much as I can zoom in. All right. Well, if you're thinking about doing harm or crime, do less. Do nothing today. If you want to have a really smooth life and you don't want to die from stupid shit, don't snort anything. Right? What used to be recreational drugs are now Russian roulette drugs. Don't put nothing up your nose. Same with pills. Don't pop pills. Don't gamble. Gambling causes all kinds of suicides. Getting drunk's probably not a good idea, but definitely don't drink and drive. Another mistake I've made the hard way. Oh yeah, we got little baby trying to. Oh, that's so cool. That's a small baby out there. Don't hang around violent people. If you know someone's violent, avoid them. Stay away from them. Penalize them by not giving them your company. And avoid the wrong relationships, because of course those can drive you crazy. or to doing things that you wouldn't normally do, right? So, oh yeah, look at the four boys, maybe some girls. Pretty cool, colorful canoes. Looking like some Kahana canoe clubbers right there, because there's one purple boat, one green boat. And I know those guys have started going out already. Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Well, you'll see these guys coming by. What a nice morning. All right. See these guys paddling canoe. Huh. One of those guys could be Spud. What's really cool is how right out here we'll get pods of 300, 400, 500 dolphins that swim by all the time. And it is just the coolest thing ever. Just as cool as seeing a whale or is a pod of dolphins. So I hope to get out there and be parked amongst them as they pass through me and film that. That's one of my big hopes. Look at these guys. It's just good stuff right there. Two guys drafting, the other two guys. That's poetry in motion right there. Poetry. All right. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. And, go do and be positive. I was thinking, if you're thinking about doing harm or crime, do less. But if you're thinking about doing positive things, do more. Which is what I need to do. I need to get out of my room and just do more of everything. Same with probably most of the other people in my predicament who are kind of staying in their rooms too much. All right. Have a great day. Aloha.